You did this. Don't deny it.
Please stop. Let him explain.
I didn't mean for this to happen.
You are a believer and you're poor. You are not good enough for my daughter, Mr. Harrison thundered, pointing at the door. That night, I watched the man I loved get humiliated in front of my entire family, and I had to choose between wealth and faith. My name is Emily Carter. I'm from the United States, and today I'm sharing a story that changed my life forever. I grew up in a world of privilege. My father, Dr. Richard Carter, is one of the most respected surgeons in our city. My mother, Dr. Helen Carter, owns 3 successful dental clinics. We lived in a gated community in a 3-story mansion with a pool, home theater, private gym, the kind of life most people only see on Instagram. I drove a white Jeep my dad gifted me at 18. I attended a prestigious private university studying architecture. I wore designer clothes, traveled internationally every year, and never once worried about money. But inside, I felt empty. No party, no shopping trip to Miami, no luxury vacation could fill that quiet ache in my chest. Everything changed the day I met Daniel Brooks. It was a hot Saturday afternoon at a shopping mall. I accidentally bumped into him near a store entrance. He was carrying heavy supply bags from a hardware store. "I'm sorry," I said quickly, barely looking at him. "It's okay," he replied with a warm smile. "These bags block my view." When I finally looked at him, I noticed something different. He wore faded jeans, a simple white t-shirt, and worn sneakers. His hands were rough from hard work, but his eyes, they were kind, steady, genuine. 2 weeks later, I went back to that mall alone. I told myself I needed materials for a class project. The truth? I hoped to see him again. I found him working behind the counter. He remembered me. We had coffee at the food court. Nothing fancy, just 2 cheap cups. I noticed he carefully counted his cash before paying. That moment humbled me. Daniel worked full-time at the hardware store and did construction jobs on weekends. He supported his widowed mother and 2 younger siblings. He made barely enough to survive, and yet he had peace. During that first real conversation, he said something that stayed with me. "I believe God puts people in our path for a reason." I wasn't religious. My family went to church on holidays, more tradition than faith, but something about his conviction felt real. Over the next few months, we kept meeting, talking for hours. For the first time in my life, someone listened to me, not because of my last name, not because of my family's wealth, but because he genuinely cared. One Sunday, he invited me to his church. It was small, simple, no stained glass, no marble floors, just folding chairs and a worship band with more passion than polish. But when the music started, something inside me broke open. People worshipped with sincerity, no show, no performance, just faith. That day, I felt something I had never felt in any cathedral in Europe or luxury chapel in the city. Peace. I kept going back. 3 months later, during a service, I stood up with tears in my eyes and surrendered my life to Christ. It wasn't emotional pressure. It wasn't manipulation. It was clarity. For the first time, I felt whole, but I knew telling my parents would be the real storm. At Friday night dinner, I said, "Mom, Dad, I gave my life to Jesus." Silence. My father's face hardened. "Is this because of some boy?" he demanded. I hesitated. "Yes. His name is Daniel." "What does he do?" "He works at a hardware store." "How much does he make?" "It doesn't matter." "It matters to me," my father shouted. "You are not throwing your future away for some poor church boy." Then he said the words I'll never forget. "You will end this relationship, or you can leave this house." My heart pounded. My mother cried quietly but said nothing. In that moment, I realized something painful. Wealth had given me comfort, but faith had given me courage. "I'm not leaving my faith," I said calmly, "and I'm not leaving Daniel." So I packed a suitcase. I walked out of the mansion I grew up in and drove away through tears. When I called Daniel, he came immediately in an old borrowed car. When he held me, I felt safer than I ever had in my father's luxury home. Life wasn't easy after that. I moved into a small apartment near his neighborhood. I started working part-time while finishing school. I learned what budgeting meant. I learned gratitude. Years passed. Daniel continued working hard, studying at night, building his own small construction business from scratch. Slowly, faithfully, step by step, his company grew. But the real transformation wasn't financial. It was spiritual. One night, my father suffered a serious medical emergency. For the first time, the brilliant surgeon was the patient, and the first person to show up at the hospital, Daniel, not with anger, not with pride, but with compassion. He prayed for my father. He visited daily. He helped my mother manage logistics. My father saw something he couldn't deny: integrity, strength, character. Years after throwing him out, my father stood in our modest living room and said, with tears in his eyes. I was blind. Forgive me. Today Daniel and I are married, not because he became wealthy, though his business eventually succeeded, but because he never compromised his values. I learned something powerful. Money can build houses, but faith builds foundations. Never judge someone by their income or social status. True wealth is found in character, faith, integrity, and love. The person the world looks down on may be the very person sent to transform your life. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Moralist for more powerful stories that inspire faith, courage, and purpose.